Welcome to Revenge with Lyra.
How dare you say no to my mother, you useless girl? My husband yelled, smashing a plate over my head during a family gathering because I refused to sign my apartment over to his mom or pay her $1,200 every month. The crack of ceramic against my skull was louder than his screaming. Food slid through my hair, gravy dripping down my neck. For seconds, nobody moved. His mother clutched her pearls. His sister smirked into her phone, already recording. His cousins stared at their plates. My own parents? They weren't there. He hadn't allowed them to come. I stood up slowly, my chair scraping the floor. My head rang, but my hands didn't shake. I plucked a shard of plate from my hair, set it on the table, wiped my shoulder with the back of my hand, and looked him straight in the eyes. "You have no idea what I'm capable of," I said quietly. The room went still. Someone muted the TV. Even the ceiling fan sounded too loud. "Hi, everyone, my name is Aria Cole. I'm 27. For 2 years, I've been the polite wife, the one who cooks, cleans, smiles in photos, and pays everyone's bills while they call me ungrateful. I bought my apartment before I met him, with double shifts and no help. His mother calls it our family asset. I call it the last thing tying me to myself." Standing there with gravy on the floor and shards on the table, I finally understood. This wasn't a marriage. It was a hostile takeover. And I was done being the silent shareholder. My husband, Ryan, blinked at me like he didn't recognize the woman standing in front of him. Maybe he didn't. He'd only ever known the version of me he could control. His mother, Eleanor, scoffed loudly. "Oh, please, Aria. Don't act dramatic. Ryan barely touched you. Now sit down and sign the transfer papers like a good daughter-in-law." Her voice sliced through the room. Ryan stepped closer, jaw tight. "You embarrass my family tonight. You will sign the apartment over. You're living in our house now. What's the point of keeping it?" I tilted my head. "You mean the apartment I bought? Furnished? Renovated? Paid taxes on? Before you even existed in my life?" His sister laughed from the couch. "Girl, stop pretending you're rich. That tiny apartment isn't going to save you." I turned to her. "It saved me once. It will save me again." Eleanor slammed her hand on the table. "We raised you better than this. A wife shares everything." "You didn't raise me," I said. "You barely tolerate me." Ryan grabbed my wrist. "You think you're brave now? Tomorrow morning you'll apologize." I pulled my wrist free. "No. Tomorrow morning, you won't see me." A hush fell. His cousins exchanged confused glances. His aunt whispered, "What does she mean?" Eleanor rolled her eyes. "She means nothing. She's all talk." But Ryan looked at me, really looked, and something flickered in his face. Fear. Because he finally understood the truth. I wasn't threatening them. I was announcing their deadline. I walked past Ryan, past the table, past every stunned face in that suffocating living room. No one dared to stop me, not because they respected me, but because they didn't know what version of me they'd just awakened. In the hallway, I grabbed my purse. Behind me, I heard Eleanor hiss. "She's bluffing. She'll be back before breakfast." Ryan's voice followed, tight and angry. "Aria, don't you dare walk out that door. We aren't done talking." I turned slowly. "Oh, we're done, Ryan. You just don't realize it yet." His jaw clenched. "You're being emotional." "No," I said. "I'm being strategic." He blinked, confused, irritated, threatened. I wiped a streak of gravy from my cheek and tossed it onto the floor. "You wanted my apartment? You wanted my money? You wanted control?" I stepped closer, lowering my voice. "Then you should have figured out who owns the house you're living in." Eleanor snorted. "Sweetheart, this house is in my son's name." I smiled. "That's what you think." They froze. Ryan's cousin whispered, "Wait, what does she mean?" Ryan stepped toward me, but his confidence shook. "Aria, what are you talking about?" I leaned in, voice soft as ice. "When we got married, your credit score was 520. Your debt was drowning you. Your loan applications kept getting rejected." I tapped my temple. "Remember who signed the mortgage?" Who's the primary? Who's the legal owner? Ryan's face drained of color. Eleanor choked. You're lying. I shook my head.
No.
I'm the one who saved you. I bought this house with my money. I let you put your name second out of kindness. The room erupted into whispers. Ryan's lips trembled. Aria, we can talk about this. I opened the door. No, I said. You can talk to the eviction notice. The cold night air hit my face as I stepped outside, finally breathing for the first time in months. I didn't rush. I didn't cry. I didn't even look back. Inside, voices exploded. Eleanor screeched, You let her buy the house? Are you insane? Ryan barked. It's our house. She wouldn't dare. She just did, someone whispered. The door slammed shut behind me. I walked to my car, unlocked it, and sat inside, hands steady on the wheel. My mind wasn't quiet. It was calculating. For 2 years, I had paid every mortgage installment, every bill, every grocery trip, every repair. Ryan's family treated me like a bank account with legs. And I let them. Because I thought marriage meant patience.
But now?
It meant paperwork. I started the car and drove straight to the only person who'd never failed me. My grandmother, June. Her porch light was still on when I arrived. She opened the door, took one look at me, and said only one thing. Tell me what they did. So I did. Every plate, every insult, every demand for money, every attempt to force me into signing away my apartment. Grandma didn't gasp. She didn't judge. She just listened. When I finished, she walked to the kitchen drawer, pulled out a thick folder, and placed it in my hands. I've been waiting for the day you'd finally stop trying to please people who don't deserve you, she said. Inside this folder is everything you need. I opened it slowly. Bank statements, house ownership documents, marriage contract copies, screenshots she'd collected from the family chat, and one bright yellow sticky note on top. Eviction process, start here. I looked up at her. Grandma smiled like a woman who is done playing nice. It's time, she said. You take back your life.
I didn't sleep that night.
I sat at Grandma June's kitchen table with a cup of chamomile tea and the eviction folder spread open like a battle map. Grandma sat across from me knitting, calm as a general watching her soldiers prepare. You know, she said, not looking up, Ryan's mother has been bragging for months. She told the neighbors you'd eventually hand them the apartment because you knew your place. I let out a slow breath. She thinks owning me is her birthright. Grandma smirked. She's about to learn ownership requires receipts. By 5 a.m., everything was ready. Paperwork, bank statements, proof of payments, legal ownership documents, and the eviction notice. Clean, sharp, perfect. I showered, changed clothes, tied my hair back, and stared at my reflection. No fear. No hesitation. Just purpose. At 7:12 a.m., I parked in front of the house, my house, the one Ryan boasted about providing, even though he couldn't afford a lawnmower without my bank card. I walked to the door and rang the bell.
Through the window, I saw panic.
Ryan rushing down the stairs. Eleanor pulling a robe around herself. His sister filming again because drama was her oxygen. Ryan opened the door, eyes red, hair a mess. Aria, listen, last night was... I handed him the envelope. He blinked down at it. What's this? Legal notice, I said flatly. You, your mother, and your sister have 30 days to vacate my property. Eleanor shoved him aside. This is ridiculous. You can't do this. I looked her dead in the eye. Oh, I can. I stepped forward. And I already did. The entire hallway fell silent. Then Eleanor's face shifted, not to anger,
to fear.
Eleanor's voice wobbled, the first crack in her porcelain confidence. You wouldn't dare force family out on the street. I tilted my head. You stopped being family the moment your son broke a plate over my head. Ryan's face twisted. I said I was sorry. You didn't apologize, I corrected calmly. You panicked because Grandma exposed the mortgage truth. That's not remorse. That's self-preservation. His sister, still recording, whispered into her phone. Oh my God, she's actually kicking us out. Eleanor snatched the eviction papers from Ryan and scanned them with trembling fingers. This can't be real, the bank said. I cut her off. The bank said I make every payment. The deed says I own the house. The law says I get to choose who stays. Ryan took a step toward me, voice cracking. Arya, can we please talk? Just you and me? I didn't flinch. You've had 2 years to talk. All you did was take. His eyes darted to the staircase. Just give me time to fix this. You had time, I said softly. But you used it to spend my money, not to change. Eleanor gripped the stair railing. What are we supposed to do now? Live in a hotel? That's between you and your entitlement, I replied. Ryan's sister suddenly snapped. This is illegal. You can't throw us out. My brother is your husband. I smiled, the kind of smile that meant the war was already won. Actually, I said, pulling the second envelope from my bag. He won't be my husband much longer. Ryan froze. What is that? I placed the envelope in his shaking hands. Divorce papers, I said. And a restraining order request. Filed this morning. Asterisk, asterisk. Eleanor gasped so loudly the neighbors probably heard. Ryan staggered backward like the floor tilted beneath him. And then, someone unexpected appeared behind him. Ryan turned slowly as footsteps echoed down the hallway. His father, Thomas, stepped into view, still in his work uniform, eyes tired, face unreadable. He looked at the envelope in Ryan's hand, then at the eviction notice crushed in Eleanor's fist, and finally at me. For a long, loaded moment he said nothing. Then, good, Thomas murmured. The room snapped. Eleanor shrieked. What do you mean good? She's destroying our family. Thomas didn't look at her. He walked toward me, stopping just a foot away. Arya, he said in a calm, quiet voice. I'm sorry. Eleanor's jaw dropped. Ryan's sister stopped recording mid-sentence. Ryan whispered, Dad, what are you doing? Thomas exhaled. I should have stopped my son the first time he raised his voice at you. I should have stopped Eleanor when she treated you like her ATM. I should have stopped all of this before it reached this. Eleanor's face twisted. You're siding with her? Thomas finally turned to her. I'm siding with the only person in this house who actually paid the bills. Ryan stumbled forward. Dad, don't do this. Mom needs support. No, Ryan, Thomas interrupted. Your mother needs consequences. Eleanor staggered back like he slapped her. Thomas faced me again. If you want me gone too, I'll pack my things. I blinked. You're not part of this problem. He nodded slowly. Then I'll help you make sure they leave peacefully. Eleanor screeched. Thomas, you traitor. Thomas looked at her with a final, weary sadness. I'm tired, Eleanor. Tired of watching you ruin every good thing and calling it love. She stood speechless. And then Thomas said the sentence that made everyone's knees buckle. Arya, they never told you the truth about the apartment you own, did they? My breath caught. What truth? I whispered. He swallowed. That apartment was never just an apartment. Thomas rubbed the back of his neck, searching for words he'd buried for years. Ryan and Eleanor froze, sensing something catastrophic coming. The apartment you own, Thomas said slowly, didn't just fall into your hands by chance. It wasn't luck. It wasn't timing. He lifted his eyes to mine. It was a gift. My heart thudded painfully. A gift? From who? He glanced toward the stairs, as if looking through time itself. From my father, Ryan's grandfather. Eleanor exploded. Thomas, don't you dare. But he continued, voice steady. He left it to me in his will. And he told me, give this home to the woman in the family who shows the most integrity. Ryan blinked, confused. Dad, why didn't you give it to Mom? Thomas let out a humorless laugh. Because your mother tried to convince me to sell it the day after the funeral. She saw a price tag, not a home. Silence. When you started dating Arya, he went on, I saw something I hadn't seen in this family in a long time. Kindness without an agenda. Strength without cruelty. Hard work without complaint. Eleanor's face twisted with rage. You gave her the inheritance that should have gone to your son? Thomas looked at her coldly.
No.
I gave it to the only person who deserved it. My throat tightened. Ryan shook his head, stepping back as if glass shattered beneath him. Dad, please, you're destroying my marriage. You destroyed it yourself, Thomas replied. And you know it. He turned to me again. If you choose to move back there, I will personally ensure you're safe. You shouldn't have to fight this alone. For the first time in years, someone was standing with me.
Not above me. Not using me. Just with me.
I nodded. Thank you, Thomas. Behind him, Ryan fell to his knees, whispering, Arya, please. Don't do this.
Don't leave me.
Eleanor reached out too, shaking. We'll change.
I swear.
We'll treat you better. Just don't throw us out. I stepped toward the doorway, the cool morning air wrapping around me like freedom. You had 2 years to treat me better, I said softly. And you spent every day proving why I should leave. Their faces blurred behind tears. Theirs, not mine. Thomas opened the door for me like a quiet guardian. What will you do now? He asked. I looked at him, steady and certain. Go home, I whispered.